Today, we're making some brownies using an African grain, a Brazilian tuber, and a Southern African caterpillar. Because of electricity and load shedding, we are going to be baking this on the gas stove. First, we need a pot big enough to hold our brownie tray inside comfortably. Make a little platform using ramekins that will keep the brownie tray off the direct heat at the bottom of the pot. Test to see if the brownie tray will be stable on the platform. And next, I sprinkle in enough salt to loosely cover the bottom of the pot. The salt will keep our oven dry and minimize the accumulation of steam. We want to bake and not steam our batter. Switch on the stove to a medium heat and close the lid on top of the pot to preheat the oven. To make the brownies, first melt 113 grams of unsalted butter in a pot on medium heat on stove. Throw in 50 grams of pre-sifted cocoa powder, good quality stuff, and mix on the heat until dissolved. Remove the pot from the heat and pour in 385 grams of condensed milk, making sure to lick any spills on your fingers. Mix in completely before sifting in 120 grams of icing sugar and mix until nice and glossy. Throw in half a teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Crack in 1 whole egg and mix everything together. Throw in 60 grams of cassava flour, 60 grams of sorghum flour, and 20 grams of mopane caterpillar flour. Mopane caterpillars are also known as masonja, amaklimbi, or madora. To make the madora flour, just blend the dry caterpillars in a powerful blender or spice grinder and pass them through a sieve until you have enough flour for your needs. Mix all the 3 flours thoroughly into the batter. Throw in some chocolate discs or chips into the batter at the very end. Pour your whole batter into a greased and lined 22 cm brownie tray. Bake this in our makeshift oven for 30 to 35 minutes. We're aiming for a temperature at about 160 degrees Celsius. I have been baking on the stove for years and years with the same stove and pot setup, so it is quite easy for me to estimate temperatures on this particular setup. You have to experiment a few times before you figure out the temperature settings for yourself if you are indeed going to use the stove. Otherwise, if you have access to an oven, bake it at 160 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes or until cooked to your liking. My brownies are ready when the toothpick comes out a little bit messy, but the batter is almost dry. Slice up once the brownies have cooled down and enjoy. The cassava flour adds lightness and structure to the texture, while the red sorghum has a mild sweety nuttiness to it that is enhanced by the madora flour. The madora tend to taste a little bit like peanut butter when they are baked with cocoa powder. You can also individually bake 30 grams of brownie batter in muffin cups, and once they're completely cool, scoop and spread in some ice cream on top. In this case, I'm using some of my Khalahadi desert salt and toffee ice cream. The salty flavor will counter some of the sweetness from the brownie. Scoop and spread your ice cream on top of the brownie, refreeze everything together, and serve completely frozen. Pamsoroe.